G'day and welcome to all the racing enthusiasts and fans around the globe joining us for this pre-recorded show. We are recording early doors on Friday morning. We did do the show earlier with Graham Hawkins for Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and we also got Gauteng Racing in Johannesburg, Turffontein Inside Track, so a double header. Plenty of action for the punters out there. And joining me on the line from Cape Town is none other than Alistair Cohen. Firstly, Alistair, how are you doing? And wonderful to have a double header for the punters.
Yeah, absolutely. All good. Thanks, Sheldon. Trust you and the viewers and all the racing fans are doing well as well. I'm quite annoyed with myself because I've got a case of being one leg out for the last couple of meetings. So hopefully we can put it all together on the Saturday card at Turffontein. Yeah, nice 18 race mix on the South African calendar with 8 at Turffontein, 10 at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. I can give a little bit of a weather report from Joburg because I was in Joburg for the start of the week and the rains have started. Of course, there's no rain forecast for Saturday. In fact, it's forecast to be quite a warm day in Joburg on Saturday. But Turffontein should look in very, very good nick now that the rains have come. And hopefully the results play ball. We are 2 weeks away from the charity mile, so that will be a good meeting. It's a bit of a slow burn until then. But I don't mind the look of this card at Turffontein on Saturday, so let's hope we're on the right side of it all.
Right, let's get straight into proceedings. And race number 1 is over a trip of 1,000 meters. And I see that number 10 from the Sean Terry stable with Gavin Larena aboard is the 11-10 favourite. This is the first timer in the contest. Let's start there. Have you heard anything about this first timer from that one draw?
No, I haven't. I was actually at Sean Terry's yard on Wednesday. We had a chat about his horses in general. So without mentioning any names, he did say that he's keen on some of the lightly raced 3-year-olds that he's got around town. So, yeah, that could be a very interesting bit of information that I can give you. Sheldon, it's not a very pretty start to the meeting in terms of quality. There's not much here, so it won't take much winning. Draw 1 with Gavin Larena is a big benefit. This horse, Predatrice, is a half-sister to Remember When, who was a 2-time winner, achieved or retired with a rating of 90. She was trained by Johan Janse van Vuren, and interestingly enough, her 2 wins came down the straight at Turffontein. So a very, very quick horse was the mare Trace, was the half-sister Remember When. So Predatrice, trained by Sean Terry, got to have something about her, the fact that she's opened up as favourite. The other first timer that makes appeal, certainly genetically, is number 7, Flight of a Condor, but it wouldn't be Diane Stenger's way to ready them up first time out, so might be one to watch going forward. I think the most interesting race runner is number 9, Montana Louts. There was a loud noise about her on debut when she made no show, and then second time out, she ran Feature Race Company, 6 months off the track, so maybe the time's done her a world of good. There's no jockey declared for number 9, Montana Louts, so she could be interesting. And I think that without having too much direction in the opener, they're the 2 horses that I think have the biggest winning chances. Probably go with the market, though. Number 10, Predatrice. The fact that she's opened up so short and has a good draw and has a top jockey from a top yard, there's a lot to like about her appeal in the opener.
Right, now that was the opening leg of the bar pot. We'll move on swiftly to the place accumulator, which is race number 2. And just having a look, this is your suggested bet for the day, the place accumulator. And my devices have all gone on the blink. So number 7, Rhonda Bosch, 149 days off the track, ran behind Pistol Pete, first time out. And I think ran second last time out. If you can just help me out there, Alistair, my devices have gone totally on the blink.
Yeah, correct. Ran second last time behind Key News, Sheldon. I've been at Turffontein both times this horse has run, and he is a beautiful son of Gimme the Green Light, which probably doesn't surprise anyone because he does throw beautiful horses. But, yeah, the fact that Sean tested this horse early on as a maiden, it does scream a horse that Sean might rate quite highly, out of a grade 1 winning mare as well. Redberry Lane won the Garden Province a number of years ago, second foal out of the mare. Gavin Larena takes the ride. The draw's obviously not ideal. Coming back from a layoff is not the brightest thing either. I think it's a nice maiden. I wouldn't make Rhonda Bosch an absolute good thing to win, but I have banked him in the place accumulator. Other winning chances come from the long overdue number 1, Let's Play Poker. Muzieni takes her out for the Azzies. I don't really like the form lines that he brings wings in, but he wouldn't surprise me if he did get his day in the sun because he deserves it. And the other horse with the winning chance, number 5, Kwakha Blitz. Again, the best run that he put in was probably his worst recent run when running 5 lengths to Karate Kid. That's an above average horse. So I think that he's got some sort of say, but Ronda Bosch, I think, has got the most going for him in that he might have a little bit more quality than the other 2 winning chances. So place accumulator bank for me, first run as a gelding, and I think he might give himself a bit of a launch pad to potentially go through the divisions from here.
Right, let's move along to race number 3. And when it comes to race number 3, I do have your numbers here for the place accumulator, numbers 5 and 7. Let's kick off with number 5, Dance King from the mowing team with Wes Mowing aboard. 4th, 3rd, and you got to like the improvement that this individual's shown, and especially the form line of that last race. The average rating was a 79, and the form line seems to be working out quite superbly.
Well, Sheldon, there's a lot of noise about the quality of this horse, Heather's Boy, the one that beat Dance King last time out. Came from a long way back and made the field look ordinary, did Heather's Boy. Very well-bred horse as well. And just to emphasize that in those form lines, horse who ran second, Chacha, was obviously disappointing. Subsequently, 4th horse, so therefore the horse who ran behind Dance King, Head Trigger, came out and won. The horse who ran last, beaten 13 lengths. Not that I think he stayed, but Zafar has come out and won as well. So that is the strength of that form line. So number 5, Dance King, very interesting. A huge winning chance and would be my top selection. I've backed him up in the place accumulator, though, with number 7, Milan's World. I've always believed that he's got some sort of ability. I remember on debut, I watched him closely, being by One World and all the hype that was surrounding the freshman stallion. And I thought he ran into a lot of trouble, made up a lot of ground, and I thought that he'd do the business soon afterwards, and he hasn't. So maybe gelding's what he's looking for. Comes out of a good draw. This is the first meeting on the inside track. This is the last meeting on the inside track for a while before they do the spring treatment. So the draws are going to be crucial. Pierre Stradham gets the ride on number 7, Milan's World, and I make him a player. If the gelding's what he's been looking out for, then I think he's got potential to win the race. It is the first leg of the pick 6, even though the PA is my suggested bet. I'd probably go in with 3 horses here in the pick 6, 5, 6, and 7. But place accumulator and bipod, I'm satisfied with numbers 5 and 7, and I'll go with them in that order.
Super, so that is a wrap as we see numbers 5 and 7. Moving along to the next heat, which is race number 4. And just having a look, getting the devices to work. 2,000 meters the trip. And just looking at your numbers here, numbers 2 and 3 you believe will be sufficient to see you through the place accumulator, Alistair?
Sheldon, this is not an easy race, and it's not a strong race. So I'm going to lean towards those 2 horses, but I do have queries about them at the same time. Quello Care, let's start off with her. She's been this trip once before and she stopped dead. So that's the query that I have with her. And the fact that she ran her best race going to the front last time out behind Stormy Sunday leads me to believe that the change of tactics may have just helped her. But if she does go a step too fast over 2,000 meters, she might fall in a hole yet again. But then the interesting dynamic to this race, Sheldon, is that Quello Care has met Fetching Flyer twice, and it's 2-0 to Quello Care. So what's going to make Fetching Flyer turn that form around? Because I do think that she makes a lot of appeal, stepping up in distance under Muzieni from draw 1. But you know, can we be solid in the fact that Fetching Flyer is going to turn that form around? I think the only thing that might help her, or the biggest key that's going to help her turning that form around, is the step up in distance. And when you look around at the others, who jumps off the page as a winning chance? There's very little form to work with. Horses that have been beaten double figures, some that haven't earned a stake check here, that don't look like they're improving or coming along the right way. So I think it's a very, very trappy race. I must be honest, as far as the pick 6 is concerned, I would be comfortable. I'd be most comfortable going with field, because I think it does set up as a race that something can totally pop up that might not be on the list of many. I'd rather play it safe here, especially with a couple of bankers coming up later on in the card. But place accumulator, I can't see 2 or 3 missing the top 3. So that's the way that I've played it. I'm uneasy about it because of the lack of quality in this race, but I think that that's probably the most straightforward way of looking at the opening leg of Jackpot 1.
That'll take us on to race number 5, and all things being equal, 14:35 will be the carded time when the starter should say go. And this is a test of stamina over 2,600 meters. And Alistair, just looking at the structuring of the weights here, the best weighted column has number 220 drachmas at 100, along with number 3 Battleground, and also number 4 Mambo Camteseo. They all on 100. And then on a 99 is number 1 Good Counsel. So looking at the best weighted column, there's not much to separate them. How are you going to lean in race number 5? How are you going to separate your first, second and third selection?
Well, the best weighted column is generally a guide when it comes to middle stakes and pinnacle stakes and non-handicap races. And here, the structure of the race doesn't really help us. However, I think number 220 Drachmas is the horse that they all need to beat. I've banked him in the place accumulator. I know he hasn't won in a while. He's done some good work at this level, at middle stakes level, and not quite got the job done. But I don't think he's had the rub of the green, and he was galloped into the ground last time by Poet's Warrior, who's a very powerful front runner from the Aussie yard. And I don't see as much pace in this race. And I think that's going to help his cause. In fact, there's no pace in this race, and I think that's going to help number 220 Drachma's cause. He's got a lovely turn of foot, and I think that probably serves him best. And when they go a good pace, that turn of foot doesn't sustain him the whole way home. So I think that's probably been his Achilles heel. And I think the fact that he can turn it on off a slow pace, and by default he's just going to be closer to the pace, I think that's going to set him up nicely. And the fact that he gets a bit of weight from a stable companion, number 1 Good Counsel, who's also battling to get his head in front, I think that the fresher legs of number 220 Drachmas is probably going to get him across the line this time around under Pila Sunday and Oli for a banging form yard. Stuart Pettigrew's trading at a very high percentage. He always does. I was chatting to him actually during the week. He had a very quiet last season, but this season he's very pleased with the shape of his yard. A whole lot of horses have got to come into the conversation as potential winners. Battleground went down to PE, won the Gold Cup in back at the end of the season. I think that this run will probably just be another one to set him up and go big when we get to the Stayers features, which are just a couple of weeks away. Mambo Camteseo beaten twice in Durban, although Mike de Kock raided successfully last week with Forgiveness, who travelled up on the Friday, the day before she won. So it's an experiment that obviously worked for de Kock last week. But I think number 220 Drachmas has just got the most going for him. He stays well, he's in form, and I think the 54 kilos that he's got to carry, I think that this will be his day.
Right, just getting on to number 1, Good Counsel, who I see is trading at around 7-2. Now, if you get back to the earlier form lines there, was running in some pinnacle stakes behind Electric Gold, Zeus, Crimson King, also horses like Razor Hallelujah. How do you think Good Counsel is going to do on the day? It has been 588 days since his last win.
So the two concerns here, Sheldon, is that he's got to give weight away over this marathon distance, and he'll probably be made to carry that weight, although Trent May, who's well worth his 2.5 kilo claim, he's obviously run with a lot better, hence he's got that heavy weight. But I think the biggest thing with Good Counsel, I think he's a horse that's short on confidence, and I think when he wins, he'll need the other horses to have an off day to get the job done. He's down in class, wouldn't completely blow me away if he won, but I'm definitely in the camp of a stable companion.
On to race number 6 next up, and just having a look at the current betting. Number 5, Do It With Diamonds, is 22-10. Number 4, There's a Light, is at 28-10. And number 6, Ombudsman, at 7-2. Then it's 4-1 Copper Mist and 5-1 Press On Regardless. Scratch numbers 7 and 8 at the early time of recording. So just judging by the betting, Alistair, there could be quite a bit of shuffling and changing.
Yeah, this is not easy. This is a very complex race, Sheldon. I've gone 4 horses in my place accumulator, which, to be fair, I've probably overplayed, especially after the scratching number 7 Head Trigger, because I thought that that would be very much in the market and probably eliminate a few tickets in the place accumulator along the way. So we don't have that dynamic to work with. 1, 2, 4, and 6 are my numbers, but number 6, Ombudsman, is my top choice. If you consider that Heather's boy, BT Chacha, an Ombudsman BT Chacha, and Heather's boy is held in such high regard. Ombudsman off an 89 under Musa Yeni might be quite generous, the son of Flower Alley. I like the way that he stepped up last time, a second start over this type of middle distance range, and got the better of Chacha in good style. I think he'll probably still come to hand as life goes on. He hasn't got the easiest draw, but 6 out of 6 is no tragedy, because if it was 6 out of 14, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. You got the log leading jockey Musa Yeni on board as well, so So number 6, Ombudsman, is my top choice, but he will be sufficiently tested by the other horses that I've got into the play. In fact, he'll be tested by everyone in this race. There's a lot under Trent Mayhew, big player. Followed up his maiden win against Press On Regardless, who he meets again, has got absolutely stone cold at the weights with an admirable run behind Wolf Mountain, who I think is a horse with a few wins in the tank. So number 4, There's a Lot, definitely cannot be written off. Yard's also going along nicely. One Salute the Flag is got top weight to carry. He comes off a layoff. He might just need the run, but this is not a bad horse. He's also got some wins to come. Does number 1 Salute the Flag. To be fair, I think you'll be hard-pressed to win the race, but wouldn't surprise me if he ran into the top 3. And then number 2, Copper Mist. Sheldon, this is a horse that didn't quite go all the way like many expected. Gavin Lorino, though, takes the ride for Waishong Maui. When they team up, there's generally business to be done. I'd venture to say that he's an underachiever, the son of Master of My Fate, but maybe with a little bit of confidence, God knows where it's going to come from, but with a little bit of confidence, he could be a horse that goes on a bit of a streak, number 2, Copper Mist. I think that there's something there that they're not quite unlocking, and the addition of cheap pieces, whether it's the answer or not, I don't know, but it's not impossible that is the answer with number 2, Copper Mist. So not a horse to totally ignore, even though he has been quite costly to follow.
That'll take us on to the penultimate race of the day, which is race number 7. So if you're looking to play the last double races 7 and 8, sink your teeth in by 15:45. The distance is 1,450 meters. And Alistair, the horse of interest is number 6, Willow Express. Once upon a time was around a 104, and then just seemed to be going through the motions, and we were following him. And I think a number of the guys started to just lose a bit of patience. But boy, oh boy, in the last couple of months, he's come back to his A game, and he's showing his true worth.
Sheldon, I've gone against Willow Express, who's done me a few favours along the way. Took us a long time to get on the right side of the Son of Willow Magic. And how's this? A win would take his earnings to R1 million. He could be the next Equine millionaire if he did get across the line. However, the reason why I'm against him here is that the handicap has now got stuck in. He's back up to an 86. And I think that Pierce Stratum is the perfect man. I know Craig Zaki won on him, and Craig rode him stone cold when winning on his penultimate start. So it would be unfair to categorize only Stratum as the man for Willow Express. But it's white-knuckle stuff with Willow Express, and I think you need the perfect jockey at the perfect time. I'm taking nothing away from Calvin Abbott. What he did at Hollywoodbets Greyville on Wednesday, I mean, 90% of the, this is going to sound like a stick away, but it's not. It's a fact. 90% of the jockey population wouldn't have turned up in Durban, especially with the travel factor factored into it. But 2 rides, 2 winners on Wednesday. Take your hat off to Calvin Abbott for that. So it's not to take anything away from Calvin riding number 6 Willow Express, but I do think that the Stratum type of ride is perfect. Keep him balanced, keep him quiet, keep him together, and literally close your eyes and hope that the gaps open up. Very, very few people can do that. So I'm against number 6 Willow Express this time around. I've gone 2 and 9 as the only 2 horses that I want to know about. There has been a bit of early support. Number 2, We Are the Logans, whose rating came down to a workable mark, beat Press On regardless last time out in good style. There's every chance that with the confidence up and at the level that he's now running with, that he can back that up under Gavin Lorino. Gavin gets down to 55 kilos. I know that he can, but it does take a bit of elbow grease for Gavin to do that weight. So number 2, We Are the Logans, big chance, my top choice. And then if you like We Are the Logans, number 9, Run for Cover is a big player as well. Loves the inside track. 3 of his 4 career wins have come on this course. And if you go back to the 14th of September when Run for Cover won, he finished in front of We Are the Logans and has a very, very cozy weight turnaround of keeping that advantage over We Are the Logans. Everything goes right for Run for Cover. He's very, very dangerous. The times that he's won on the inside track, he's been drawn 1. That's a crazy stat. But I think number 9, Run for Cover, is a big player, certainly as far as the mathematics are concerned.
Then bringing down the curtain will be race number 8, where number 3, Chestnut Bomber. There's a number of horses here who have got the improvement factor, but this horse, Chestnut Bomber, he keeps you interested. And then after winning the maiden, beating Ridian, he ran 3rd to Caretaker, 2nd to Daring Dash. Gavin Lorino knows him exceptionally well. And this was one of those Lancaster bombers who seems to be up and coming, and he could be quite ahead of his handicap.
I couldn't agree more. He's a banker in all bets, Sheldon. I think he's the best bet on the card. He has run a handicap before, but this is a novice handicap, much like in his penultimate start where he came back from a layoff. The mother's a Grade 2 winner. The elephants in the room is that Gavin Lorena's riding for Johan Janse van Vuren again. That kind of came up from nowhere after the splits about 6 weeks ago. Look, you can see that Johan's trying to keep this race alive with 3 horses in it. I think it's all set up for number 3, Chestnut Bomber. They're horses here that I think are going to be better over further or are going to need the run. I'm prepared to say best bet on the card, banker in all bets, number 3, Chestnut Bomber. I think that he will at least go places that the rest of this field won't and will take all the beating.
Well, I got to agree with you there. Number 3, Chestnut Bomber, shapes up as a banker and one of the better bets on the card. So the punters playing their last double or their last treble, they'll be looking to close off and seal the deal with Chestnut Bomber. Now, Alistair, your selected bet for the day is the place accumulator. So we're going to bring that up on screen. And if you wouldn't mind going through the selections for all your fans out there.
Thanks, Sheldon. So here we go. 1:15 is when the PA gets underway on this 8-race card at Turffontein. Banker 7, Ronda Bosch in the first leg. By 5 and 7, Dance King, 5 and 7, Dance King and Milan's World. By 2 and 3, Quello Can, Fetching Flyer, and a very, very weak maiden. By Banker 2, which is 20 drachmas. By 1, 2, 4, and 6, I probably overplayed that now with a 6-horse field, but at least we pretty much guaranteed to double up. 1, Salute the Flag. 2, Copper Mist. 4, There's a Light, and 6, Ombudsman. By 2 and 9, We Are the Logans and Run for Cover. And then finally, banker number 3, Chestnut Bomber in the last.
Well, thanks very much, Alistair. Your input always very valuable and the viewers really enjoy it, and hopefully the horses do it for us on the track. That's what we all look for, to end up in the winner's enclosure. Be safe and we'll catch you soon, Alistair.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Sheldon. Always a pleasure, and we'll catch up in the near future.
Thanks very much to Alistair Cohen joining us on the line. We do have the double header on Saturday, which is recorded early doors on Friday. So check your final selections and the final equipment changes, and hopefully the winning is on your side.